The best business is always somebody else's. I started with a services business, StudioHawk, and I thought it would be so much easier if I had a product business like Caddy. Turns out, maybe not. Here's what I learned from having both a services and a product business. So founders often fantasize about passive income or productizing or licensing their IP. But the actual execution of that is extremely tough, especially when you're just looking at the good parts or the Instagram reel of somebody else's business. This is a story of how it came to be. So I started StudioHawk about 10 years ago. Throughout that time, I always had an interest in starting a product brand, especially after working with so many of our clients and building their product businesses. 5 years ago, I met Mayrav at a business networking group called EO, and we always knew that we wanted to do some kind of venture together. And a year ago, I was traveling a lot. We're talking several round the world trips a year, and I always had trouble with my luggage. I'm kind of like a fast and loose kind of guy with my bags. It either works or it doesn't. I'm not really taking care of my luggage. It should be just holding up. And these coincidences always happen in life, and Mayrav and I reached out, and we actually organized a coffee, and I told her about this and she said, no way, we're actually working on this luggage brand called Caddy. And I had some ideas, she'd already thought of them obviously because she was in product, and we kind of joined forces to build that luggage brand, Caddy. So we were in, we kicked off, and suddenly I found myself as the co-founder of this growing e-commerce brand with, product all over retailers in Australia. So I'm stoked. I'm the co-founder of this luggage brand, traveling around the world with my own product. And occasionally you get to bump into people seeing your own luggage, which is such a cool feeling. But then you start realizing the ugly warts of a different kind of business model, which is a product versus that service business model. And here's some of the differences. So in services, you get data, clients, case studies, dashboards, but it's all kind of intangible. It's all kind of numbers on a spreadsheet. In product, it's a different world because you're working with factories, logistics, and a physical, real-world object that exists in a 3D space. But that cool factor of seeing other people using your product, it comes with a cost. It takes a lot more than you expect to make that a reality. And here's what I mean. Services, frankly, you can kind of pivot fast. Like StudioHawk, you can train new staff, adapt processes. You can do all this in the span of days or weeks. I recall times during COVID or when ChatGPT came out, we could roll a process next week and have a whole agency adapting through team leaders and learning and development and roll that out really rapidly. The feedback is more people driven, like do more of this or do less of this. But with Caddy, one simple design tweak, changing that mold for the handle, can cost $40,000 and take months because you have to clear out existing inventory to roll out new product, and then you have differences that customers then complain about. Originally, we only had one side of our large suitcases that was zipped up, and we ended up doing an innovation so that both sides could be zipped up. It was just a lot easier when you open your bag. But people that bought the existing one-sided zip up then complained that a new product was out, which is under the same brand, and when you do a return and then you give them the new product, people would be like, well, what the hell, my new product's different than the old one. And customers, well, they're very blunt about what they like or don't like in a product. You might make what you think is an innovation, and then customers tell you quite frankly that sucks and they don't like that. And you're just looking at that, not just the inventory that you developed, but knowing you spent $40K trying to build that, and it just feels very raw and very personal. So yeah, when you ship tangible materials and products versus services, pivots get expensive fast. So in services, your inventory is your people, which means that you need an office or you can work remote. You can find a place to house these people. But with product, it's literally physical stock, warehousing. And I've got the worst product, it's luggage. It's huge. There's only so many places you can fit this thing. It's not like skincare, you put it in a room in your house. It's like my house would be full of just luggage for only 100 units. So you get the challenges with product: understocking, overstocking, challenge good, return. One broken zipper on a bag can mean you have to return that whole bag, and you might fix that zipper, but now it's refurbished goods, and there's not an easy way of selling that. So you end up with a lot of product that's just simply not used, or I end up with a lot of spare suitcases. And yet that product scale is completely different. So your service revenue is linked to headcount. More people, more revenue, right? If I get another $10 million next year, I'm gonna need the equivalent of that amount of people with some efficiencies to actually service that. I can't just add that amount of revenue to my existing company and expect that to get serviced. It would be pandemonium. My head would be on a pitchfork. Whereas a product business is completely different. Whether you have 1,000 units, 10,000 units, or 100,000 units, you've actually got A, better units of economics, but B, your operating blueprint is pretty much the same whether it's 1,000 or 100,000. The question is, do you want to scale or do you want control? With the services business, it's a lot different. There's a lot more trust, authority, really relationship building activities that'll get that over the line. Whereas product is more brand, emotion, aspiration. Marketing and product is more of an art. So you've got two totally different playbooks, and to be honest, neither is easy. But one thing is constant, the people. As I say, the best part about business is the people, and the worst part is people. But no matter what business you're running, you're still gonna be dealing with those people. Clients or customers, they come with expectations, delays, and pressure. That's honestly the universal constant that humbles every founder. I know how to get a business to rank to #1 in Google, but honestly, I don't know how to fix your zipper, and believe me, I have tried. So to be honest, to answer which one's easier, it's not really clear cut. They're just different battlegrounds. The grass is always greener, and like I said at the start, the best business is always somebody else's. But don't jump into something new. I see founders do this all the time, jumping from business to business because they think that someone's gonna be easier, better, different. The reality is, every business is hard. So take it from me, someone that started an 8-figure service business and a product business that's getting pretty damn close fast. You need to find what gets you up and out of bed in the morning. If you're considering starting another business just because you saw someone else's and it looked cool and easy, you need to ask yourself, is this something that I would still get out of bed in the morning for if it was a hard business? Because let me tell you, as someone that learned the hard way, if you jump into a new business, there's always going to be warts in any kind of product, business, service that you do. I'm documenting my journey on both building a service business and doing it brand new in the US, as well as building up my product business. If you like that kind of content, or you've got ideas for other kind of content I can publish, leave a comment and please subscribe. It's exciting to watch this channel grow.